Good to meet you. Welcome to the SpeakerHub Co-working. I am Ron Story, your always informal but always accurate product director at SpeakerHub. We do this co-working session every day at noon, from noon to 1, or until I have another meeting coming up. So sometimes we go into what we call overtime, which means that we went beyond 1 p.m. But this is designed for um, SpeakerHub users, SpeakerHub non-users, anybody who wants to get on more stages, they can come in here and ask us questions about how we do it at SpeakerHub, and we will provide you with the method that you could preferably do with our product. But if you want to use a different product, that's possible also. I think I saw a bunch of emails or support questions that you've been having a conversation with Raquel recently, Darshana. So if you want to introduce yourself and tell us about you and what you speak on, we'll try to help you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Darshana Avila, and my work is at the intersection of trauma healing and sexuality. I mostly work with women and couples. Um, why I'm here, a business mentor suggested that I check out SpeakerHub. I had a chapter of I was featured on a Netflix show, got a lot of speaking opportunities that came through that. And that was 3 years ago. And it's been a lot quieter, and I have not been very proactive in keeping that going. And my question was, because I'm totally new to this, I did just get done kind of filling out the profile and all that. And I'm just curious about what Speaker Hub is versus there's another something that's like the Speaker Hub launch or something. And I just wanted to understand, yeah, what the different offerings are and kind of find where I would best be a fit for it or it for me.
No, that's perfect. So SpeakerHub overall, here, I'll share my screen with you guys so you can kind of walk through it. And a lot of people have seen this 1,000 times because we walk through this daily. So I think after about a week, Bart will be able to give this presentation for us because Bart has seen it so many times. Um, but basically, SpeakerHub in the past was just a profile, right? It was just you would create a profile like this, you would put in your information. It was basically a digital one sheet. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And it was basically LinkedIn for speakers. And recently, I purchased SpeakerHub, and I ran a competitor to SpeakerHub where we didn't have a directory, we had a database. So a directory is where people come to find you. A database is where you do outreach to the people that you want to talk to, right? So we combined that together and created this framework that we call the speaker flywheel, where you need your inbound setup, which is the profile that you've been working on, but you also need to combine that with outbound activities, whether it's to podcasts, local associations, or conferences that may not know who you are, but you want to introduce yourself to the people who makes decisions there. Does that make sense? So in order to do that, we couldn't just have just a profile. We needed to add other pieces to the system. So we have the profile, but then we give you access to 4 million contacts. Well, if you give you all of that data, you're going to need to be able to manage it. So we have the CRM that manages that. Well, if I gave you 100 people to reach out to, now you got to think of 100 things to say to them. So we added Speaker GPT, which is our Chat GPT integration that will match you with the right opportunities and write the email for you. So in the past, it was really SpeakerHub was just a speaker profile. Now it is a complete hub of opportunities, right? And the VA is if you don't want to do it, you want to pay us to do it. We will do these things for you, and you just wait on the responses, right? But this is what we call SpeakerHub. Now, let me show you the differences. So this is the regular speaker profile. I just clicked off of it. One moment. Go back. Right. When I click on speakers here, you'll see it's going to bring up the profile for different speakers that are there. There are 63,000 speakers that use the SpeakerHub profile. Does that make sense? So I don't know why this thing is spinning like that. One moment. Right. So while that's figuring out whatever it needs to do, I don't know why it's doing that. This is SpeakerHub Pro, right? This is the one that gives you access to all of the data, right? So if you look here, you can see Ann McNeil, she's pitched 308 opportunities this week. Israel has sent 144. Corey has sent 77. Bart, who's on the call, has sent 75. Leroy sent 73. These are the outbound pitches that they're pitching to opportunities. When you basically come in, you can put in your basic information. This is all you fill out, and most of it is done by just connecting your email account. We go out and our AI writes a bio for you. Instantly, based on this bio, you can see it will automatically match me to podcasts that I should go on. If I wanted to get sellers calling you, I want to listen to this podcast to make sure that I would be a good fit. I click on it, I can listen to it, or I can just add it to a list and click pitch. Once I click pitch, we just verified we had the right information, and in 15 seconds, it's going to write a pitch for me to Beatty Carmichael, asking if I could be a guest on this podcast.
Great.
Right? If I don't like it, I want it to be longer. I click long, I click rewrite. It looks at that podcast, looks at my bio, writes an even more detailed pitch that I'm more comfortable with. And in 5 seconds, there we go. All customized to that particular podcast. Has my LinkedIn, my website, my phone number down at the bottom, so they know I'm a real person. This is what we do, right? All I do is click pitch. Once I click pitch, it sends that email from my own email account. These are they don't know that SpeakerHub exists.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So that system has allowed Ann to send 308, Israel to send 144 for the month. Ann has sent 600. Dr. Karen has sent 500. Sayron, they're kind of battling for second place there. But you can see, I don't think anybody would invest this much time if they weren't getting results.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's but it only takes 3 minutes to send a pitch. So this is a game changer that is different than what we call the phone book, right? Now, the phone book is really important, or the directory is really important, because when you search in Google, this is what's going to come up. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, this is basically the speaker one sheet for Dr. Raj Singh, and it shows him, he can put his videos or whatever he wants to put there, show off his expertise, right? Get recommendations or whatever. So if we were to look up Raj Singh in Google, I'll show you the value of this real quickly. We look up Raj in Google. It's a lot of Raj Singhs. But we're looking for Raj Singh who? The speaker. So we type in Raj Singh speaker, his speaker profile is right there. Right? That's the importance of the speaker profile. We come in here, there it is. We can see him right there. There's his speaker profile, front and center. Make sense?
Yep.
So this is what we do. This is how we build that momentum in the speaker profile or the speaker flywheel. It's all based on you generating inbound leads and outbound leads at the same time. Is that any questions up to that point? Because I'm going to tell you, because you mentioned speaker launch. So, well, what's the difference? Speaker launch is you take the system and you add it to accountability, right? Because if you have the right strategy, you have the right process, but you don't do it consistently, you don't win. So we found that just overall, most speakers and solo entrepreneurs, they wake up and they're just doing random things. They don't have a set every day, I'm going to come on and pitch and get these things knocked out.
I know nothing about
I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just saying a little birdie told me that this is the habits of speakers. So we found that the ones who win are those who make it a priority, just like going to the gym, just like having their cup of coffee in the morning. Pitching is a priority because it's the only marketing machine for a speaker. I've never heard anyone that says, I ran Facebook ads to get speaking gigs. There's no way. I ran Google ads to get speaking gigs. I haven't met anyone who's done that. But what I do here is I get referrals and nothing else. Well, we're like, wait a minute. If you're new, you don't get referrals. So if you're new, you have to do outreach. But if you're experienced, you get your referrals and you're doing outreach, you're pretty much unstoppable. Right? Even the best speakers in the world are still doing outreach for opportunities because everybody in the world doesn't know who they are. Right? You said on a Netflix show?
Yep.
Probably millions of people watched it, right?
Yep.
I had never heard of it, right? So you would have to, you see what I mean? So even those who are most well known still need to introduce themselves to somebody. And that's why we provide the outbound. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So this call is where we just hop on. A lot of people are here and they may not turn on their cameras because they're just pitching in the background. They use it as co-working. This is where they just come in and do their pitching. It's their daily, I stop in to make sure I get my stuff done every day type of co-working.
Right.
But Bart is here, AJ, Jadika, Michelle works for Ann. So if you have any questions or comments, concerns, Darshana, they can tell you from their own real life experience whether you would be wasting your time or whether it would be worth it, to give it a try.
Yeah. I guess the question that I have is more from the standpoint of the database of not just podcasts, but like speaking opportunities that might actually be on a live stage. Like, how are you guys gathering up that insight? Because I know I have a hard enough time finding out about things with like enough lead to actually be able to like send in a pitch or say, hey, I'd love to be considered for this. I'm often finding out about things because they're in the promotional period. So yeah, I'm just curious how that piece of the puzzle works.
So we have, let's see if it'll come up. SpeakerHub, listed conferences. So we have someone on our team by the name of Catherine, and Catherine goes out and she makes this spreadsheet.
Oh,
and
he needs a Catherine.
So, Catherine is constantly every day. She has to report the ones that she's put in. So her last 15 or so conferences were put in on the December the 10th, and she put in a bunch on December the 9th and December 8th and December. So we manually go get it, right? We have the largest database because we do the hardest work. So, haters gonna hate, but SpeakerHub gonna speak.
And does this skew in like in any particular direction, like industry or topic wise, or is it really broad spread?
So I showed you how it automatically matched the podcast.
Yeah.
But like here, let me just modify my profile so you can see. What's your topic?
Sexuality. Let's just go broad.
Okay. So we can do that. And then what else audience wise, right?
Women. I work a lot within the LGBTQ community. I work with couples.
LGBTQ. Okay. And couples, family. I'm just gonna put a bunch of stuff in here. And then I'm gonna put basketball just because I want to just put something goofy in there. And gymnastics. Right. So now when I come in and I look for conferences, so now they're bringing me the family-based conferences that are out there, right? I didn't pick anything there, so I come over here and now it's showing me basketball podcast, right? And then I go back to conferences is that I didn't pick anything for family. Now it's showing me basketball conferences. Like, oh, maybe you want this, right? But I can override that. You see, it has marriage in there and a bunch of other things. So I can come in and I can just type in sex, and it brings up 46 conferences that are on sex. We have 45,000 conferences.
Okay.
Right. So at SpeakerHub, we believe there's only 3 speeches that could ever be given. Right. You can either teach someone how to become a better leader, teach someone how to improve a skill, or teach someone how to make or save money. Every speech in history fits into those three categories, even if they're about sexuality. It's an improving in a skill or allowing a person to be a better leader because of a new perspective that they brought into the workplace. So we really believe that if it's a topic, you can talk about it anywhere. If you're able to adjust that topic to show how it benefits the audience. So even though you may primarily work with women, a lot of men could benefit empathetically to understanding how women deal with the issues that you may discuss. So we found that
Most
going
of
in
my YouTube followers.
huh?
The men follow me on YouTube more than
Yeah, exactly.
they're
Yes.
interested in the advice I'm giving.
And even if you're going into corporate with whatever topic you may have, it's very difficult to say I only talk to women because they can't just do an event for women,
Fair.
right? There has to be an inclusive topic that you can take into corporate settings or things of that sort. So, we always say niche, but then expand. Know who your target audience is, but expand that a bit so that you can kind of maneuver with what's desired in the marketplace. But yeah, I mean, that's just the conferences. We have another 200,000 associations, right? So we type in family, it's going to bring up 21,000 family-based associations that you can reach out to, right? So, I mean, we've tried to create the best um, data resource. There are a lot of people who just have podcasts. There's different association data sets that are just associations. You can subscribe to a lot of the different conference programs that are out there, but there's no place that gives you all of it in one place, right? Along with the ability to track everything that you've ever sent, put in notes, follow up with them, the AI integration, upload your own leads, get leads after your event with the QR code, right? Where you can say, hey, after the event, you want to download my ebook, put your camera up, get a copy of my slides, right? There's just no place that has built the hub. They may have one thing, and you'll subscribe there, and you'll subscribe here, and then overall, you're like, dude, I'm paying $800. I should have just gave Ron that three that he was asking for. It makes it so
Fair.
much simpler, you know. But this is what we do. If that
Great.
makes sense.
It does. I appreciate the walkthrough.
Yeah. So, feel free to sign up for a trial. If you're satisfied doing that trial, we would love to have you as a paid member. I think most of the people on this call are lifetime members. So they bought a lifetime account from us. So they pay once, which is equivalent to about 1 year, a 1 year subscription, and they have access forever.
Okay.
So that's a promotion that we run maybe twice a year. It was run for Black Friday. It's still up if you decide that it's something you want to do. But it allows you to um, try it out, see if you like it. We give you a money back guarantee. You send your pitches, you do your part, and you don't get invited to speak anywhere. I just give you your money back. I don't want to fight with you. I'd rather keep you as a friend and learn where we can improve our product versus have you telling everybody um, how crappy our customer service is. So,
Heard. Thank you.
because I am a big advocate. When people screw me over, I tell everybody. So I just got screwed over by this stupid company called Ninja Webinar. Webinar Ninja. Do not use them. They sold me a lifetime account and then they canceled it. They said it's not lifetime anymore. We got bought by another company. If you want to subscribe now, you can pay us. We'll give you a discount. So, and I told them in customer support, look, we got a large group of speakers that we work with, and I will be sure to publicly tell them don't use it based on my experience. So I bought a lifetime account with them, and they canceled every lifetime account that was ever sold through AppSumo. We were the people that got them started in 2016. They wouldn't exist if we didn't buy the accounts through AppSumo in 2016. So we don't play those games. We have users that have been with us since we first started. They get all the upgrades. Everything that we get, we add something new, they get it automatically. All the trainings, they get that automatically. So all we have is our word over at SpeakerHub. No pun intended, because we're speakers. But you can trust our words over here.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have no other questions, anybody else? This is our
Yeah.
warm welcome. This is what we do to everybody. We always let you go first, and then
Thank you.
usually people have different questions. Bart, you got your stuff back.
Yeah, Army, Navy. Well, Army, we don't care about Navy.
But we got your stuff back. We got you.
Yeah, I saw that. I appreciate that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So
So, ma'am,
Bart made
just
a
so you know,
mistake.
even when you
All
mess
this.
up, they do right because I messed something up. So hit the wrong button and deleted everything, but they were able to restore it because I told them in time. So that's tremendous. And I know what not to do. I was going to say, and I don't get paid for this today, but but when I first saw this and what he just showed you, it was the game changer. I mean, I know he just said that, but in my mind, it was the game changer of speaking and like you said, just kind of stalling out or whatever, and the momentum halted. But I could clearly see right away how this was going to thrust the momentum. I mean, if there was a 2.5 year hiatus, now the hiatus was already down just to 90 days. I didn't feel like I was 2.5 years behind because this thing is gonna catch me up so quickly. And just jumping in there and clicking a few buttons and it happens so fast and then you're getting responses right away. Like, here's some days from my podcast. Just by the pitch. Some of it was AI, some of it was the one my template, but that fast, it was happening that fast. And what ends up happening is like, shoot, I can't keep up. Now, Janique could tell you, we talked about this yesterday. You're pitching so many, like, whoa, I got to slow down because I have to be able to keep up with who I'm following up with, who I booked, moving from one to the other to the other. And the same thing with the speaker one, where like, there was like, there was a question asked. I sent the pitch and they said, how much you charge? Like, no other questions. It's going to differ, obviously, but like I said, I don't get paid to say that. I pay my money just like you will, or if you decide to do that. But it's the game changer, and especially if you just look at the flywheel. I would say commit to the flywheel of in and out, and do all the things on there of podcasts and associations and conferences and media. You begin to build your brand very, very quickly.
Thank you. Appreciate hearing from you.
Oh, Bart, that means a lot. I appreciate the speaking from experience, right? And I was joking with Bart because he deleted all of his stuff out. But we've had that happen before. So we save, even when you delete it, we save for 30 days, just in case if you did it by mistake. But we got all of his whole mailbox restored. Miguel went in and fixed that because Ezekiel definitely didn't know how to do it. Don't tell Ezekiel I said that, but Miguel is the person who fixed that because he built that system for me on how to store the extra data. So that was restored. So Bart, we're good. We're glad we're able to help you get that back going. But that's the gist of what we do. We teach the flywheel. We teach something called the speaker launch formula. So I want to walk through this really quickly so you can kind of get a better idea of why we teach what we teach. And I'm going to skip all the way to the end of it so you can just see what the formula is. So the formula spells the word space, SPACE. And since we talk about launching, we know that these are the things. We've given people strategy before and they didn't follow it, right? Or if they did follow it, they still needed a process so they could do it on a daily basis. But then there was nobody to celebrate with them. As speakers, we're by ourselves all the time. We're alone. It's just us. So who's there to give us a high five or to set the standard of what we should be doing or what's even possible? And I was telling everyone yesterday about how when we first started, it was hard for us to get people to send 100 pictures in a month because they had never sent 100 pictures in a month. I'm like, dude, that's 5 a day, right? But they hadn't built the discipline to come in every day. And then we had people that were sending 100 a week, and people were like, holy crap, how they do that, right? And then we had people like Janika who was like, I'm going to send 250 a week, right? And then Ann came in 2 weeks ago and said, we're going to send 100 a day. So they've been averaging 500 a week now, right? So now the bar has just been raised, and we're like, holy crap! Like, what do we do? Like, how do how do we make this the new standard, right? Because they'll get results that other people won't get because they're just not doing enough. So that accountability is not really us saying, do your job. No, it's coming on and seeing other people and seeing them win. You automatically, as a competitor, move up a little bit, and you just move up, right? And um, we know that that's what leads to consistent engagements. So, AJ, I want to ask AJ to share a story because AJ and I were on a call this morning, and one of the things that he told the story about how we always hear people that say that you're the um, you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around, right? And he hit me up. He says, "Man, that ain't right. That's not true." And I'm like, "Okay, like what are we about to fight about this about, right?" He's like, "No, I want to tell you what I found out. I found out that's not true." So, without a bunch of details, if you could explain what you discovered from that, that would be cool.
All right, so they did a Harvard study about that, saying we're the 5 people that we hang around, and what they found out is that it's not that you're the 5 people you hang around, it's that you're the 5 people that you compare yourself to, or the 5 people that set your standard. So a lot of times, the reason why it seems like it's the 5 people we hang around is because that's who we're comparing ourselves to. But and I'll tell you how this real quickly how this affected me and Ron. I hang around people that are doing way better than me financially for a while, and I was like, yo, why am I not there? But when I actually started looking at the study, I realized that the standard that I set, the people that I compare myself to, are that are from my hometown, people that I played football with in college, and I'm doing much better than them just because I live out of the country. So as long as that's who I compared myself to, and that was my standard, I was always going to be there. So it just made me shift my mind and realize that it's really not the 5 people that you hang around with the most. It's the 5 people that you compare yourself to, and the 5 people that set your standards.
Right. Now, how does that tie into this? I still remember when Jadika said, I want to be on the leaderboard. And say Ron was at the top of the leaderboard with like a big gap. And then Jadika was like, nope, I'm going to catch her. And the next week, she won. She won the leaderboard. You get all of your pitches back. And she won. And, I think she won maybe 2 or 3 weeks consecutively because she just wanted to compete because that was the standard that was set. And then Sayron realized, wait a minute, I did so much. I need to stop off. And Sayron disappeared from the leaderboard because she had to follow up with all of the people. Yesterday, Jadika hops back on. She says, you know what? I sent too many. I'm not following up. So now Jadika isn't on the leaderboard because she's following up, but you don't get credit for the follow-ups. You get credit for the initial pitches. So when you think about that, they started this camaraderie of looking and saying, hey, this is the standard. If this is what the winner's doing, and she heard the results that, say, Ron was getting, well, I want that. I'll just do that. And then Ann comes along and says, well, I'm going to have 3 people do that. And then now she has 3 staff people that pitch on her behalf. So, but moral of the story is the standards are what's important. And you have to compare yourself to people that are getting the results that you want. Based on their actions and their activities. Bamba, good to see you, man. You doing all right? Any new updates?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I was following up. There's a lot of follow-ups. I get a lot of responses. They're like, oh yeah, we don't do this. Oh, it's youth. We want the youth people. And I'm actually trying to see how to change emails because it's actually going to like my personal
Yep.
acting
I'll
email.
share that with you. So
For
before
sure,
that, I'm going
that
to
way
share
I
something
can.
else with you though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this screen here. You see this?
Yikes.
What's the title at the top?
Oh,
Bamba Trio leads. I got you, man. We working
hey,
on we
let's
working.
go.
We got a whole list of them for you at all the different
All
universities
right,
and
I'm
everything.
ready.
So we working. Just
Yeah.
be patient. We got you. So,
No problem. I mean, you can send them in
no. We
by
can't send them
hundreds,
yet. I got to
but it
make
takes
sure
a
that they're
minute.
ready. But I
Okay,
got you.
okay,
So
okay,
you'll
okay.
see. like all the different, let's see which universities that we have so far. One moment. So if you, for those who have a lifetime account, what you end up with is we give you leads that are not in our database. So if we don't have the leads, we give you the person's LinkedIn and their where they work and the job titles and the name of the university or whatever, so that you can reach out to them on your own. So Bamba works, he's a specialist in DACA. He got his DACA visa and he goes and he teaches other people how to do that. That has been his American dream. It's led him to be able to be in great movies and all these other things. But we provide those leads, as you can see here, so that he can upload those and reach out to the data that we don't have. Does that make sense? So, right? Emails is where you connect the email you want to send from. And you can see I have an Outlook and a Gmail. You can have multiple emails connected. Just set the one as primary that you want your emails to go out from. So you see, I just switched mine from my Hotmail to my Gmail. You can have multiple emails that you switch back and forth in between.
Okay, good. Good. That helps a lot because
Yep. So then you can segregate it from your main email box because you're probably getting killed with responses or things of that sort. But
correct.
as you can see, I use a regular Gmail and a regular Hotmail because Gmail trusts Gmail, right? So you don't need a fancy domain and all that other stuff. You just need to pitch. So switch to whatever email you want and keep up the good work. Keep sending.
Can I ask you a question about that, Ron?
Yep.
The domain, like I have, my Darshana Avila domain with multiple email addresses. And I know sometimes when I'm just sending straight up emails, they end up in people's spam if we haven't already communicated. So do you find it's better to use something like Gmail or Hotmail as opposed to?
I'm a firm believer to use a regular Gmail account.
Okay.
And you can test. So I'm going to show you all a hack that we use. This company is called GMass, and they have this thing called Inbox. And inside of SpeakerHub, before you send an email, let me show you. When you go to, let's say I want to email, I'm going to queue up a pitch here to reach out to that podcast from earlier, right? And what I can do is when I scroll down, I have this arrow. This arrow allows me to schedule or send a test email. So if I hit send a test email, it's going to say this email is going to be sent to Ron Story Jr. at blah, 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 right? Does that make sense? So it's going to take it out of the system and send it over to me in my own inbox. What I'm going to do is copy that, right? And I'm going to send it to these emails. I'm going to forward it to this, copy these and forward it to this. And it's going to bring up whether I go into spam or in the inbox. So you can see, watch, I'll show you. I'm going to do it from my own email. 1 second here. Let me open up my email in a different window so y'all don't see my American Express bills and stuff. I know how y'all are on this video. Gotta hide, you know. Let me make it bigger.
Remember, you're the one that hit record, not us.
Oh, well, no, Ange turned it off. So Ange know the rules. Ange knows
We're
what's
back
up.
recording.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm just gonna copy this here, and then I'm gonna bring my inbox back up into this window so that you all can see what I'm about to send. So all you do is I'm gonna paste this email, which is that basic email from there, and I want to test if I'm gonna go into spam or not. So take these, copy them. Gmail is gonna let me send them to them. Put that in your recipients. Again, this is kind of some high level stuff, and I'm going to put podcast guest in the topic and hit send. Now, so that was just sent. I can come over here and now I'm going to look up my email address. All right. So it hasn't found my emails yet, but give it a second and eventually it's going to look up all of the emails. So you can see on this one went to spam. But on that one, primary inbox, primary inbox, primary inbox, primary, spam, right? So I know that, okay, something is wrong with maybe the topic or something of that sort. Does that make sense? So let me go in. I'm going to send the same email again. Let me pull this off. I'm going to do the same email one more time, but I'm going to change the title of the email, right? And let me bring it back so you all can see it, that I'm sending the same exact email again. Again, this is more high level and technical. These are the things we'll be teaching inside of Speaker Launch for our, our folks that are there. And I can put in quick question. I'm going to change it to that, right? Yeah, just put it in quick question, right? And let me highlight this, remove the formatting, because I hate formatting. And we're just going to send this. Right? But I want my photo there, so put it back. Take the formatting out of here. So all we're basically doing is saying, all I did was change quick question in reality, right? Boom, I come over, come here, and I search again. And hopefully these ones that went to spam will change to, okay, so that one's still spam. These are still primary inbox, primary, okay. So I'm still getting killed by those, but I could check, right? And it tells you what type of Gmail. So this is regular Google Workspace. I'm okay. This one is Google Workspace with Barracuda. Like, it's more technical, but you get the point. Regular Google Workspace, Google Workspace. Depending on how long those emails have been up, that's what's happening. Does that make sense? And this is just from my regular email account. So you can run these tests if you want to be technical, but it just depends on a person's settings and how high their spam filters are. And so that's what we do. I run these tests all the time. We know that the simple, quick question or something of that sort helps out a lot. Right? Makes sense, Darshana? So, but yeah, so the least of the concerns is you can't stop the promotional folder or what a person's spam filters are. But if you're landing in the inbox, the primary inbox, 60 to 70% of the time, it's probably a good thing. Got it? Yep. Melissa, how's it going?
Hey, Ron.
How you doing? You sent your first pictures yet?
Yeah, I've sent a bunch. And I got one. I guess I logged in just at the wrong time because I got an automated reply from somebody's Microsoft account that was from spam. So I tried sending it just directly from my email account again, and it got triggered as spam.
Okay. Yeah, so it's probably just a bad email account that made it through our email verifier. Before any email goes out, we run it through a verification process called Emailable. And I'll share this with people so people know how this works. So Emailable is the system that we use to verify each and every email before it goes out. It has like 98% accuracy, so that means that 2% of them are gonna be bad because we just don't know, right? But if it's anything other than anything lower than 80%, we don't send it. So we need 80% certainty that that email is correct. And we see it for you can see like they have deliverable, anything that's undeliverable, unknown, duplicate, or the risky level is over 80%. I mean, under 80%, we don't send. So we verify every email. Some still slide through. Bart had one yesterday. What you do when you get an email like that to help everyone out is you come in, and when you go to follow up, you can update the status to report as invalid. We give you that credit back plus an additional credit for scraping it for us or reporting it. Actually, I think we give you 2 back for reporting it. So you end up with 3 new credits, if that makes sense. So if you had 100 when you sent it, it went down to 99. When you log back in, you should have 102.
Okay. Yeah, I
Does that
think
make
I did
sense?
report it. Yeah. I also had a question about is this mailbox, is that what you call the speaker CRM?
Yeah, this is the mailbox and the leads together, because leads is where you can upload your leads like a regular CRM, right?
Okay.
So if you had your own leads, your own CSV files that you've made or that you purchased from a lead subscription service, you can upload those there. And then the mailbox is where you send the emails and you follow up and you keep your notes. So you can see here, if I go into this thing I sent to Brent, I can follow up, and I also can put in notes about when to follow up with Brent. We simplified the CRM all the way down to the essentials of a small business owner. The reason being is that the original CRM, Salesforce, and things of that sort was not made for the salesperson. It was made for management to watch over the salesperson, right? So that they could say, hey, did you send this? Did you do that? It was basically built for tracking. It wasn't built for activity. So me being who I am, I ran 300 farmers insurance agencies, so I know the oversight thing. But what were the essentials when I was an agent? All I cared about is, can I do the outreach fast? Can I keep notes to track who I've reached out to? And can I follow up efficiently? So those are the essentials that we built in, because 95% of our users are solopreneurs. They're not watching over somebody as a manager. So we simplified it to that. If there's another feature that you think we should add, we're always open to it. Yesterday, we introduced the new dashboard that we're going to be doing, and everybody voted. Who was here, they got to vote on the dashboard that will be replacing the academy in the next 3 weeks. So hopefully by the beginning of the new year, we'll be introducing the dashboard that Bart and Jadika and everyone else voted on yesterday. We showed them 3 different examples. But yeah, does this answer your question about how to do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. So I'm just sort of figuring out, like, because when I go into my sent folder tab, it just shows, I mean, I understand that I can filter it according to, like, I have it filtered by oldest first, but it doesn't show, I have to tap on them to see when I actually sent them.
Yep.
So what, I mean, it would be helpful to see the date when when I sent them, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
Can you
So
sort of go over
yeah.
some sort
So
of
let's
best,
go
best?
ahead and share your screen. Let's do it from your account, if you don't mind. Right.
Okay,
So
sure.
here's the one thing that we talked about this yesterday too. I think is pretty cool, is that we follow the formula of how many pitches you should send, right? And if you're in every day, we don't allow you to follow up for 24 hours to prevent you from sending the same person multiple pitches in a short period of time. But when you go into the sent folder, by default, it puts the oldest ones at the top, so that you should just go in, click on there, and just follow up. If you haven't heard back from them in 24 hours, follow up, right? Do not wait a week. Do not wait 3 days. They didn't see your original email. Or even if they did and they didn't respond, it's because they got a 3-year-old like I got, who comes into these meetings and they distract me. And I go do something else and I forget I was supposed to reply to Bamba, or I was supposed to reply to Jadika about something, and it gets lost in one of my tabs. So we believe that 24-hour follow-up,
Okay.
right? So that's why it's in that order. Follow with the oldest people first, the next day, right?
Okay.
And then they'll automatically move down to the bottom. And our thing is, you shouldn't be following up with people twice if you haven't followed with these people once. So it moves the order so that you stay in this basic flywheel system of following up with everything else, right? Now, here's what we know. As the data has shown, I think we can bring this up in Canva. They'll let me in. Here's what we know about follow-up, is that only about 40% of people follow up more than once. And let's see if I can oh, here it is, right? So I think these are frameworks. No, that's a different one. Only about 40% of people follow up more than once. And what we're trying to do is to build the habits of follow. I can't find them in here. And do you know what the frameworks are?
It's in your space, Ron. That
You see it over? Oh, here it is. There you go. See, this is why. Thank you so much. Right. So let me see if I can bring these up. We got a gang of frameworks in here. Let's go to the one that I want. Here it is here, right? 48% of people never follow up after they send their first pitch. 25% of people follow up a second time and they never follow up again. 12% follow up 3 times, 10% will follow up more than 3 times. But here's what happens. You only get 2% of the results on the first email. So if you reached out to 100 people, you're probably going to get 2 responses on those first 100. That's going to increase by 50% just by following up a third time. But it goes up dramatically after the 4th time, right? So you go from 1 out of 50 to 1 out of 10 just by following up because people get busy, right? So this is just overall sales stats universally, but we found it to be true here. I'll let Jadika talk about it because I know Jadika is the follow-up queen. And can you talk about your experience? Because she wasn't following up at first. And I said, Jadika, we have data that shows you could double your results just by sending a follow-up email. So what was your experience, Jadika?
My first experience was just doing all the pitching and not following up gives you a lot of context that you need to be responding to. And I found up, when I slowed down in the pitching and started focusing on cleaning up, what I call cleaning up with my follow-ups, what happens now is the follow-ups are producing faster than the first pitch. Just because I sent a follow-up and said, oh, well, I'm sorry I missed the one, but yes, I'm interested. So I'm getting more bookings now from my, say 2 to 3 follow-ups that I'm sending out compared to my first, the first pitch. So follow-ups are key. And I think that you have to, just like what you said, monitor how much pitching you're doing so you can get to the follow-ups, because it took me a whole week to clean up all of my, my competitive motion of, getting on the ledger board and all of that. And so it took me a whole week. So now I'm back to being able to pitch and then follow up effectively. It's crucial.
Yeah. So we found that data to be true. And a lot of this information comes from my experience, 12 years as a financial advisor. I owned 8 Allstate agencies. I ran 300 offices for farmers. So follow-up is true in every industry. The only difference is as a speaker, you're your own salesperson. No different than I was when I was an insurance agent. It's the same thing. People are people no matter what product you're selling. So you still have to follow up with them. And I think it's very interesting that Jadika mentioned that there's a bit of guilt when they miss your first email, right? Because it's like, oh, this is a follow-up. My bad. I would love to have you on, but I feel bad that you had to email me twice, right? And we found that to be the truth or evident, whether it's a conference or whatever, right? Even the conference organizers, they're very similar in their sentiment of, I apologize for following up faster, even if it's a no, right? So you want to build those relationships, and follow up is definitely the key, especially with somebody like me. I get 700 emails every 12 hours, literally every 12 hours across 3 different email accounts. So some stuff gets lost, and I'm like, shoot, I'm supposed to follow up with such and such. And so I'm a firm believer that follow up is the key. Now, here's a side note. That 5, how much do I believe in this, right? So I learned this a long time ago that 80% of sales are made after the fifth contact with the person, right? And if we go back to some of our old frameworks, you'll see that my first company where we did outreach, the name of it is Five Contacts for that reason. Because I'm a firm believer in follow-up. That much, 5 times that I named the company Five Contacts for that particular reason, that follow-up has produced more. 80% of the revenue that you will make from a customer comes after the first sale. 80% of the revenue you will make comes after the first sale through them referring you to other people or buying from you again, bringing you back as a speaker. So you want to keep that relationship going because that first booking is only 20% of the revenue you will make out of that relationship. This is data that's not shared with speakers because most speakers or speaker coaches have never been salespeople to have the enough data to give you real numbers. I just happen to run Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri for Farmers Insurance, so I can cheat. I can use the data that I learned to be able to give you real stats on why follow-up's important. Melissa, did that answer your question? Any other questions?
Yeah, so I guess a couple of questions. One, is it really not annoying to, or I don't know, like every day sending a follow-up email every single day, every 24 hours? That feels.
So let me give you an example. Do you go
I mean,
through?
I'm a big fan of follow-up. In my sequences that I've done before, it's been like every few days, or like once a week, or every few days. But every 24 hours to the same person feels like it might get annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they should tell me to stop. That's really what it comes down to. Just tell me, hey, no, tell me no. Quit being. You know how you can stop being annoyed? Reply, I'm not interested. Right. So I don't care about annoying strangers. I'm never going to see them again anyway. Right. So why do I care if they're annoyed? I matter most. I believe in the mission of what we're teaching, that I'm willing to offend some people that I'll never talk to again.
Yeah.
If I've given them the option to unsubscribe or to say no or to reply back, they can reply back not interested, and we will still be friends, and I will stop replying. But until then, it's my responsibility for me to make it a priority to them. Right? Now, everybody doesn't believe that, which is fine. But that's been the key to me winning. My persistence has won more than anything. 4 years, I followed up with Andras about buying SpeakerHub. 4 years. David Price, the CEO of BF Goodrich, I emailed him every month for 2.5 years asking for him to teach me how to buy businesses. His reply was, stop emailing me, let's go to breakfast tomorrow. 2.5 years later, right? I'm just saying. George Lucas's wife, Melanie Hobson, we emailed the heck out of her. She became a mentor to one of my friends based on those emails. Follow up. Just until they say no. So, Mama, what's the how?
Hold up.
Bamba asked. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, how do you track it? Like the follow-up list.
Yep. So the follow-up list will automatically be tracked in your mailbox. Anytime you send something, I don't have anything that I've sent recently. It will be in the oldest first. So the people you need to follow up with the most are always at the top. Does that make sense? And you can change the order of the filters. You can filter oldest, newest, whatever, name, whatever. But we, by default, want you following up, right? So here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you a franchise for a speaker without calling it a speaker franchise, right? Put the fries in the grease for 3 minutes, you're gonna get McDonald's fries, right? Press the patty, put salt on it, close the machine. Like, we're trying to give you the things that where you don't have to think about it and you don't have to create the system. So Basically, it's going to always be in the order that you should follow up. Just follow up in that order.
Uh,
Can you remove, I hope this message finds you well, from the AI? You can always tune the AI to say whatever you want, right? So you can change the voice of the AI and all of those different things. That's up to you. You can create your own templates. You can tune it to do whatever you would like it to do by
But there's no
changing the
way
link.
that there's no way to specify, please don't use this phrase, is there?
Yeah, and at this point there isn't, but you can always delete it out when you're doing your
Yeah,
editing.
yeah, no, I know that. But
Yeah, I mean, again, the AI is there to be the shortcake, right? Deshauna, you ever had shortcake before? You know what that is,
I mean, I know what my version of it is.
right? But when you go buy them from the store, they look like this.
Yeah.
They plain. They ain't got nothing on it. So that's the AI. Your job is to put the berries and the cream that you like on it. It's not designed for the person who is hungry. They should just eat the shortcake because they're hungry. For the person who is like, I ain't hungry, but I want it to taste good, go in and tune it to however you want, whether it's the length, changing the words or whatever. The hard part is already done by us going and getting the data, right? And giving you the foundation to pitch from. So we can't make it perfect for everyone because everybody will want something different. Here's something that we're exploring, which is give us 10 versions of an email that you would send. We could use that in order to train the AI on your voice. But right now, we got a pitching issue. We don't have a voice issue. We got a pitching issue. We're trying to get people more activated in pitching because 100 imperfect pitches will always outperform 10 perfect ones just based on volume. So that ability to train on your voice, Melissa, is coming, but it won't be until February or March because we're just trying to get people in the habit of pitching. Imperfect action always beats perfect inaction is our theory. So again, also I want to make sure everybody knows my responses to your questions are not particularly to you, but to the hundreds of other people that watch afterwards that need a little bit more context and a little bit more pushing. So I'm not picking on you when I respond to your answer. I'm just answering it broadly for our entire audience. But
Ron,
does that make sense, Melissa? It's going to get better. If you saw the AI thing last December when we first turned it on, it was way worse than this, and people still pitched. So we've improved it a lot, added the tuning and a lot of other things, the length. We're getting a lot better. It's going to keep improving. Thanks for being a lifetime member also. What was your next question?
Ron, Bob and I are having a conversation about the follow-ups, so I just wanted to go back to it. So, Bomba, are you asking how do you track the follow-ups in your mailbox on SpeakerHub Pro when you're responding in your personal Gmail account? I mean, your
correct.
personal account.
Yeah. Is there
Yeah.
like a way or a trick or hack that
Yep.
you guys use? Because I don't want to double follow up.
So I got you. So basically, this is why the daily discipline is important because if you're sending 20 pitches a day and you get a response from 3 of them, you should be able to come in and find those 3 podcasts or opportunities and go ahead and you can change the status. I can't do it because I don't have any incent, but I should be able to change the status to replied or booked or archived. Does that make sense?
Bomba,
And
can you share your screen if you, I'm sorry, Ron.
oh
Bomba,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have yours up, can we
Mhm.
see yours?
Okay.
So in the next 3 months, I'll mention this. Hopefully by January, we will have the approval for Google where it will automatically move sent into replied. So when someone replies to you, it's automatically a replied. So you don't have to search through all of the sent. You can just search through the replied and be able to move those. So yep, go to your sent. And who have you replied to in your Gmail? Who have you replied to?
Oh,
Like
it's
who's
on the
hit you
list.
up already?
Okay, let me see. The
No,
direct.
don't.
I
Okay,
mean,
go ahead. I'm
that
sorry.
just helps me kind of like figure out like these people,
Okay,
not
so click
everybody.
on their name, right? and then click update status,
Okay.
and then change the status to replied,
Replied.
right?
Update.
And you can do that in bulk.
So
And now
where
it moves
does
them
it
over
go
into the
now?
replied folder. So click on each one before you go to update status. Click on each one that you've talked to.
Okay. These I talked to. Um, there's diversity. There's youth.
So, okay. So
Filter.
what happened once you moved that filter, it moved off the ones that we wanted.
Oh, okay.
So, but if you would just keep the filter blank, so just go back up to the top really quick and just go scroll all the way back up.
Uh-huh.
Well, click on the filter, but scroll up in the filter. Because yep, and click on contact list.
Where's contact list? Category.
Actually, I have an easier way. Click on replied. Just click on replied at the top. All the way at the top, there's replied. Do you see that? Replied?
Right, yes.
Okay, now go back to sent.
Sent.
Yeah, now it was back to all list, which is where we want. Now go and
Okay.
select each one off of here.
So here's one that I know clearly. Immigrant media storm also.
Yep.
Yeah, so I have to go back to my email to make
Right.
sure.
But what I wanted to show here is that you can select multiple. Now click update status. You see how it already has 2 of them or 3 of them? Now you can just select them all and click update status at the top.
Update status.
And then move it into reply.
Reply.
And then now they're over in the other folder.
What
Right?
folder? They're in the reply folder. Okay.
Yep. So that's going to be automated in January. We already have it for Microsoft, but we don't have it for Google. And we didn't think it would be fair to turn it on for half the people and not the other half. So we just turned it off for everybody. But once we get that approval from Microsoft, whenever someone replies, that will be automatically in the replied folder with the reply email and everything in there. We already have it with Microsoft. We just are waiting on Google's approval. That is IMAP and IPOP is and POP3 is in the works right now. That we're working on that right now.
And
Makes sense?
so,
So
Bamba,
everyone who's here, you all will have that automatically. Huh?
I want to mention one other thing. When it's in reply, you can click on details and add your notes. So once you move it from sent to reply, then you can add the notes. So
Yeah, you can add notes at every stage now.
spreadsheet.
You can add notes at any stage now. Actually, we changed that inch to where you can add notes at any stage. So you can always click on the name of the thing and there will always be notes at the bottom on the right. If you see that here, it has my notes here. Brent was a nice guy. I need to follow up in February. You can always add notes of when to follow up. One of the things that we're looking at on the dashboard is to be able to put a notification or a reminder so that on the dashboard, it shows you the reminder of follow up with this person. So that'll be coming soon. Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff. Like something, we got this frameworks thing. Like that is mind blowing. Let me tell you what it is. I won't show it to you, but I'll tell you. Imagine after you book a speaking gig, what do you got to do? After you book the gig, you got to figure out what you're going to talk about, right? We have it where it will suggest to you that, here, I'm just going to show you. Maria, don't hate me for doing this. I know she's going to be mad, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Let me see. Templates, branding kit, speaker QR, NDev. 1 second. Frameworks came out. 1 second. Gotta zoom out so 1 second here and I'll get it to you. But what she has done with these frameworks is not fair. People are gonna hate us when they see this. I promise you. Oh my God. I used this morning and I said, this is better than I expected. All right. Can you see the screen here? And email signature, QR, frameworks. Here we go. Check this out. So you remember we talked about notifications And this is one of the things that will be coming out where we can give you your notifications. Hey, you need to follow up with this person. This is what I was talking about, Bomba, where you'll be able to set a calendar to say follow up at this time. It says, hey, you're up to date, keep pitching. That's what that's what these notifications will be. They will be notifications and reminders. Makes sense? So we're working on it now. So it'll look like this. Yesterday you wrote this public review, this happened, this happened. This is coming, right? And it'll be right there in the corner. But it'll be on the dashboard just like this with a history of things of what you need to do. You said follow up with this person in March. That's going to pop up here. Is that fair, Melissa?
That's great.
Right? So that's that. But here's frameworks. Oh my God, this is so incredible. All right. So once you go in, and we will give you, we talk about there's only 3 speeches you can give. You can teach someone how to build a skill, teach someone how to be a better leader, and teach someone how to grow the business. We're going to give you those 3 talks for your topic. So now you don't have to think about how it applies. We're going to give you that already in your topic. But also, when you go on podcast, guess what you're going to be doing? Well, now I got my acronyms. I have my own frameworks that I can use. So I could have the Jadika framework or the Bomba framework for immigration, right? So the system will automatically create that. We're going to show you how, when you go on a podcast, what should your call to action be, right? What should your call to action be in your speech? So we're going to give you all of these things. How do you engage the audience? What's your signature talk? All of those things are coming automatically based on your topics and what you're working on us with. This is a game changer. Nobody else is doing this. This came from 4,500 conversations, one-on-one over Zoom with speakers just like you guys. If you ever doubted whether you were in the right place, I promise you, kill that thought. We're going to make it so easy for you to get on the right stages and be able to close deals no matter what stage you're on, whether it's a podcast or a TED Talk. You should walk away with deals. Is this fair? What's your thoughts on it? First time seeing it, nobody else has seen it outside of us. And I'll show you the status of this. Where's my comments? I can't see it, but there's a comment section where I got an email today that said, Ron, this is live. It's ready for approval to go live. So this is coming very soon. It just needs to go through testing. But we've been working on this on frameworks for 6 months to make sure that we had the best ones. So cool. I gotta get me one of them. I'm used to the flag or something, right? But thoughts, feedback. I want to get you all's feedback on this.
Looks amazing.
Cool. No, that's a big deal. No, that means a lot. What were you gonna say, Ange?
Yeah. 2 questions in the chat. One from Melissa, so I'll let you ask, and then Michelle just asked a really great question as well.
Yeah, so I've been doing follow-up during all of this, and super easy. I love how easy you make it with the software. And I got a bounce message from one of the follow-ups. So can you walk me through again? I can't find the way.
So when you know the conference that or the contact you reached out to, you click on where it says details or follow-up, and then there's a thing that says status.
Oh,
Can you share
update.
your screen?
Got it. Yeah, sure. I'll share my screen so
In
people
case someone else. Okay.
can find it. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so report is invalid.
Report is invalid. Yep. And what that does, and it says invalid email.
Does that invalid email? Is that what that is?
Yeah, if it's a bounce, that means the email doesn't work. If someone replies back and they say, hey, you got the wrong person, that's when you would put info doesn't correspond with who I'm contacting. And then if there's another reason, you would put other, and then we would look up and see. If you click on other, it lets you type in. Click.
Okay.
But there it is, right?
Okay, thank you.
So now that should have automatically been moved to archive. So we don't want you messing with it anymore. Someone on our team takes that list. We run it back through a validator, If it's still invalid, we go and we find the real email for that person and update the data.
Great, thank you.
Right. So yeah, it's a machine. We're running this machine of people on the backside, making this better for everyone. Hopefully, it should feel like, oh, this was easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy, you know. But we want to make it. It should be intuitive. You shouldn't have to think to use this. We want it to be where it was my original premise with building this. What are the 3 most popular apps that are used in the world? Google, Amazon, and email. So our searching is just like Google. We use the orange buttons just like to add to the Amazon list. And you're sending emails. If you can use those 3 applications, you should be able to use SpeakerHub. Right? So, yeah. Michelle, you had another question? Hey guys, we're 13 minutes into overtime. If you have more questions, I'm here. I'm willing to stay as long as you all want to stay. So I just want to let you all know we're not holding you here hostage. But Michelle, what's your question?
My question is, we've been going through and marking them as reply, and they have a speaker questionnaire that we need to fill out. Is there a way to track that on SpeakerHub as well, or is that something that we need to track on our own besides putting it in the notes section?
Yeah, the notes is the best way to do that because different companies have different questionnaires and things of that sort. So what I would use notes and tags. So if there's something like if you want to see all the ones that gave you a questionnaire, I would just add them to it, add that same opportunity to a different list so that you can tag them again, right? And you'll know, okay, these are the people who asked us to fill out an application. These are the people that we already have a meeting set up with. What we're doing is we're trying to learn. Let me back up. All of this was built based on Ange's agency. So Ange ran an agency and she used the software, but her agency was just pitch only. So someone replied from their side. They never logged into the software. So a lot of this was built on us doing outbound where they were managing the things. As we start bringing more speakers in to doing it and following up and managing all of the CRM functions, we're learning what new functions to add. It didn't used to have the CRM thing. This is all new that we're incorporating now. There were no notes. You had to build all that somewhere else. So we're learning from you guys. So Michelle, tell me how you want it to look. We will take that into consideration as we build out that thing. So how would you like for us to have those applications, or what would you like to do with them?
I don't know. I have to give that some thought as far as how it would look. So if I can get back to you on that one.
Yeah, because we don't know either. That's why we ask. We don't know either. So we're like, yo, give us feedback.
I can show you. I can show you Pipe Drive, or you can look up Pipe Drive and see that.
I'm very familiar with Pipe Drive. What should we do with them? Like, what do they have that we should integrate? Because I've used Pipe Drive since they first started. Also.
Okay. I mean, I saw how you with the new additions that are coming in. I really appreciate that because this helps organize things and put them all in one place, especially with the follow-ups. Well, not the follow-ups, but the a future one where you have to go back. For example, if I received an email saying we haven't set up everything for submissions yet, that will happen in June or reach back in June, I'm able to put that, maybe hit a button, especially in Pipe Drive, and then it's going to remind me on my calendar to do it. And right now, with the ones I'm getting right now, I'm just putting them in my phone to reach back.
Yep. So there's a couple of things that once we get those notifications set, the great thing about it is that we already have the approval from Google for like calendars and all those other things. So we'll be able to just add those permissions along with the email permissions. But since we didn't have a definite use of, we didn't ask you for the calendar permissions when you signed up. But we'll be able to just go ahead and click and let you add that so the notifications come on your calendar and integrate with your Google Notes or whatever else. Again, it's very early. We've owned SpeakerHub now for 5 months. So we appreciate you all sticking with us through the rapid development. Our dev team is world class. I think I know all of our competitors. they're not as agile as us. They're not able to get these things out. So I give our team a lot of credit for being able to hear something on a meeting today and have it for you in a couple weeks, right? So don't ever feel like I'm complaining as I'm listening, but I'm trying to listen and see you later, Judika. I'm trying to listen and give feedback and kind of stress test the ideas before we send them over to dev. So Michelle, if you have any ideas, send me the ideas on how we should provide those applications. Here's something that we do have that we haven't figured out, and maybe you all can tell us if this is valuable. This is our SpeakerHub list of things, right? A lot of times we got the calls to speakers for all of them. Is that even valuable? Should we give you that information? Is that information that you would find valuable, or do you just prefer to send the emails? Because we got the calls to speakers too. We just don't show it. I mean, we have it for every single link. I just prefer skipping the list. But if you all think that that calls to speaker list is valuable, we could give you that too, so that you can not only submit the email, but do the calls to speaker application at the same time. What's your thoughts on that? Because we have the information.
I had a question about that, Ron. I was curious about whether does it make sense to just submit the application and or send the email to say, the quick email, hey, I'm interested in speaking, whatever the AI, modifying whatever the AI puts out, the short email to get the response that says, just go to our website, get the application, to sort of, because I could see arguments on both sides. One is they get to know me, and then I get to know them, and then I can look them up on LinkedIn and, put a face to a name and all of that. If I go through the system and I send the email first, but then there's the argument of like, go just submit the application. So
I'm going to talk to some of my HR people. I'm gonna call up some of my HR and hiring folks, because I want to ask them if someone, because applying for a speaking gig is applying for a job. That's what it is, right? So if you worked in HR and someone filled out the Indeed profile and they emailed you, what's the probability of you going and looking up the Indeed application that they sent before you go through all the ones that may be ahead of them because they followed up with you via email? I'm going to reach out to Lisa Ely, who's a SpeakerHub user, and I'm going to ask her, like, because she specializes in HR. What's the one young lady that was on here that does HR? Is it Dr. Karen? Somebody does HR.
Dr. Karen. She does HR.
Yeah, because if HR departments appreciate that you filled out the Indeed profile or whatever, and you followed up with them via email, that may give us some reason to test giving you the application link along with you sending the email at the same time. Because we pull all of that data when we get whenever we pull an event anyway. We just don't show it all.
Yeah, I'd vote for both. So a few examples. One, when I emailed and they just came right back and said, now, because we don't know who the decision maker is. We don't know who that is. So it's going to go to somebody. They immediately just said, and I don't know when the dates, when they gave me the dates. What's your price? Here's the dates. What's your price? Okay, that's only been one. So I'm gonna call that, an anomaly, if you will. Others will put the link in there. I had one said we close submissions, but I'm gonna open it back up for you. So that's where the email alone would have worked, because had I gone to submissions, it would have said close. But I think both. Now I had one where I sent an email and the person said, well, I'm out of I'm out, so you got detail. I'm at a wedding, at my sister's wedding, and I'll come back on Monday. I just went down to the, because in her signature block there had a link to what the event was, and I clicked on that, and it told me everything as well as the submission page. I didn't submit yet because I want to wait till Monday for her to see the email just to see if she responds or what she might say. And so that's where a personal connection comes into place when she says, and looking at what I talk about, maybe that will drive some interest. Okay, I'll split it this way: some special interest, but I still think at the end of the day they're going to say, "Here's the link to submit." So I have the link. I just haven't done it because I want to hear what she says first. But their deadline for it is like January 15th or something like that. So I won't wait too long. But I think both are I think both are valuable.
Yeah, no, I think we'll add those. I think that's yeah. Once you've selected that you want to pitch, we'll show you the links. So I think that that's a smart thing. We won't put the links just bare naked on there without a pitch, but we'll add that once you select pitch, we'll give you both options. I think that's a smart move. And Paul wanted to say hi. That's what he was coming in to say hi, walking like he Conor McGregor or Vince McMahon, you know. But yeah, so but no, I think we'll add that. So thanks for the feedback, guys. I think that makes a lot of sense. Bart, your examples were spot on. So we'll add those application links because I think that will push things up. An application and an email should make things should get us more results. So that's the goal.
Ron,
Anything else?
thanks. I'm going to log off, but thank you for making this so incredibly easy because I've sent more pitches this week than I have in the past several months. So thank you.
Home run. That's it. No, I'm glad, and I'm glad that we were able to win over your confidence, Melissa, because I know that there were some doubts and some things, and I'm glad that we're able to overcome those and to push forward. We want to make sure that we give you the best opportunity. As I always say, well done a little late is better than half done early. So we're going to uphold all of our promises, and you just stick with us, and we'll get you what you signed up for,
Thanks,
which is
Ron.
speaking gigs. So thanks.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Have a great weekend.
So I have a question. Well, it's for Bamba, but I still think it relates to for everyone else on the call, I guess.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So it's not. I
Yeah.
mean, so Bamba, I would be interested if you could, because you had requested that list for colleges and universities. So
Yeah.
here's my thought on colleges and universities. I don't know, but I hope you can confirm this. So you reach out to one college. Let's say it's a big school, right? With the big school with a whole bunch of different departments, and there's a head of different departments. Those deans and those heads have their own budget. So I think that a person speaking at academic and college and university could possibly speak there more than once based on the different departments and them being interested in what you speak on. So that's what I'm looking forward to, having confirmed. Because I'm not sure if I want that list but I feel like I want a list because I do want to speak to colleges and universities. Right now I'm going after presidents and provosts. I'm going at the top. And
Presidents and who?
they're
Provost.
like the second in charge. So they will look at the message and make a decision that, okay, we need this at our university. Let me filter it down. Either we do it at a high level with faculty, staff, and maybe a few students or student council or whatever, or we shop it over to all the deans. So that's what a provost might make the decision. Say, okay, I'm going to spread this through all the deans. Let them decide if that's whatever they want to do. So kind of at the top, they'll mandate it, and they shift it down. Okay, who's interested, if you will. So my question, or what I'm asking you is just if you could share with us as you filter through this. It might not come for months down the road. What the landscape is.
You're asking me what the landscape is?
No,
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 not now.
he's
I'm
asking
as you go
down
through
the
your
road,
you start
learn,
pitching colleges
share
and
the learning.
universities. Will you end up speaking to different departments, different deans, or the whole university, if you will, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, for me, it's been like my agents and universities I've spoken to before that have relationships with associations. And since I wrote an essay in a book that's a part of a curriculum at some universities, they reach out to me to come speak to the students that, did that course.
Right.
So it's new for me to like pitch myself.
Yeah.
So I'm learning as I'm going.
Okay, so a question: when they reached out to you to put someone on the inside, was it from a So I take it was from a specific department, like the law department, the criminology department, the sociology department.
It's usually like a dream center, an immigrant organ. It's like the immigrant community at the
Okay.
college,
Yeah.
the maybe the Black Association at the college. Yeah,
Got it.
those are usually the ones I reach out to.
Okay. All right.
I think, Baba, you have another opportunity. I would reach out to every theater department at the universities and go in because of the Black Panther thing. Like everybody, they ain't got people that's just coming back doing it. So now you get into the theater department, they may give you $2 to $3 grand to come in, but then they can make the introduction over to the immigration or the international students department. So now you end up with 2 gigs, but the relevancy of you being in the movie, you got to lean on your strength. Your strength is, even though DAC is where your passion is, your fame comes from your acting, right? So, like, what's the one guy who was in Snowfall? Damza something?
Idris Damza.
Yeah. So if there's no way he can go talk about anything and people don't ask him about being in Snowfall, right? So you got to lean on that strength to get the door open. I got to kick this door open with my stardom and then get to what I want. It's the example is, how do you get a dog to eat garlic? You wrap it in ham, right? So the ham is the movies and the television work that you've done. And then they end up saying, "Oh yeah, I would love to. Yeah, you come talk with us. We'll get you introduced to such and such," because that's clout for them to
Right.
introduce you to that department. Yeah, Bamba, Bamba, I'm introduced to Bamba. Bamba, he talks about international stuff. He did a great job in our department, and you pivot those. Looks like AJ was coming up to add some feedback about that.
Yeah, my thing is just talking from an event planner standpoint or somebody that's booking speakers. Like Ron was just saying, it's all about status, right? So if they bring somebody from a big corporation in, they're gonna say the corporation. They don't even like the person is almost irrelevant because they're gonna use whatever they can because their job is to get people there. So they're not gonna get people there by saying Bomba, but they can say Black Panther, right? So whatever your biggest name recognition is, always leverage that because that's what they're gonna leverage. So lead with what they can leverage with because then like as event planners, as people that as producers, as all like they're always thinking, how am I going to sell this out? How am I going to sell this to them to get it going?
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that because I changed my message and I'm able to move with different speed now because my template. So the first few I just use all the AIs and I put all the AIs together to come up with a great one. So now it's template every time. It makes it go faster. And I began to flirt with putting my rank, my retired rank from the Army. As much as I personally look at it like this. That was then, this is now.
This is now, right?
So if I'm going outside someplace, someone said, okay, I'm not wearing this thing here, this jersey, and someone has looked at me and decided I was in the Army, I'm like, where'd you get that from? Like, that is not the image I'm trying to present. So I had to think about that the other day. Okay, no one knows who Bart Womack is yet. Not in this space yet. Not unless I wanted to go. But they do know Army. Truth be told, they don't know what Command Sergeant Major is either or what they do. Doesn't matter. They'll see the rank that is something, and they can Google that, and then they'll see Army. So that's the thing I get to lead with. They ain't gonna hear none of that when I get on stage. But that's the thing I get to lead with that resonates with the most people. Okay, knock yourself out. So I appreciate you saying that. I didn't do that. Yeah.
To your point, one of my mentors is a retired 3-star general. His name is Ronald Johnson, right? He was the VP of the officials for the NBA. Even the NBA, as big as their brand was, said retired General Ronald Johnson, VP, because they were using the discipline from the Army. Because they brought him in right after the scandal with the NBA ref that was gambling and doing all of that.
Yeah.
So when they brought him in, everything they put on his stuff, they put retired 3-star General Ronald Johnson. because it gave them credibility to
Ability.
say, to put their brand with the Army.
Yeah. Enforcer. Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so
That
the
makes sense. Thank you, guys.
authoritative positioning is what this is called, right?
Mhm.
You have to position yourself as an authority in the eyes of the person who's hiring you, right? You don't want to, the worst thing you can do is seem like just everybody else. Well, you can have that humility internally, but publicly, you got to be proud of what you've done, right?
I mean, the AI, I make sure the AI has Black Panther in there.
Oh, yeah, no,
Always
no,
in
I
there.
got it. But what I'm saying is, like, even when you're targeting the different departments, like the theater department, those kids would love to hear someone from Black Panther, right? Because they don't, the only three people they know from Black Panther is the one guy who passed away and Suri. They don't know anybody else's name. They don't know the bald head lady's name that was the head of the army. They don't know any of that,
Mhm.
right? But someone from Black Panther's coming. They're like, I just want to go because he was from Black Panther. Maybe he can give. I would take his job if I want to be the dude on the army truck too.
Right.
It's a
Right.
dream, right? You're
Sure.
living somebody else's dream,
Mhm.
right? So you have to be the leader that you needed when you were that student.
Of course.
If
Of
you were
course.
that student wanted to be an actor and someone who had a role that you would have taken, they came in to talk. You like, yo, how you get on that sitcom? Same thing. How you get the visa? But you're using that to get into the other departments. Let them be your escort on campus.
Got it.
Yo, can you introduce me to the
I'll
person over
start targeting
in
theater.
international students? Heck yeah, that's Dr. Such and Such. They proudly walk, Doctor, look what I got. You know, that's what you want them to be your guide on campus, man. And you'll be surprised the amount of social capital that someone else can gain just by making an introduction for you. And that's all that they want is that social capital. Make sense?
Oh, makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so
I mean,
cool,
theater
guys.
departments was definitely a blind spot. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
grateful.
you want me to add them to your list?
Yes, please.
Gotcha. Cool. So, hey, guys, it was good talking with you. Another great session. These sessions are amazing. We should like charge people $18 million a second to sit in on these because we're always dropping gems. And if they watch them, they'll learn some stuff and they'll get booked more. Thanks again. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. See y'all tomorrow. Oh no, Monday. See y'all Monday.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Be safe. Friday the 13th. Don't walk across any black cats or anything.
Oh, it is Friday the 13th.
You know that means the Grinch is coming today. You know.
Bye,
All
y'all.
right. There.